Hey, what's up guys? Joker here, and I hope you all had a good weekend. Welcome to a brand new week of news in the world of tech and PC gaming. Our first topic for the week, we'll be talking about Call of Duty Modern Warfare and whether or not this game is actually going to have loot boxes. Activision and Infinity Ward have stepped up and said, no, it's not going to have loot boxes, so we're going to get talking into that. And also, NVIDIA has announced its own game studio, which will be responsible for introducing ray tracing tech into previously released older titles. Did you just finish building a sweet gaming rig only to have this happen to you? Not to worry, because your CD Key has you covered with Windows 10 Pro licenses for under $15. And if you head over there right now, you could save 20% off with my code JPD20 at checkout. You'll receive your key within seconds, and then just click the start button and type activate to find the Windows activation screen, and all you got to do then is paste your code in. For more info as well as that coupon code, be sure to check out the links down in the description below. So first up, let's talk about Call of Duty Modern Warfare and whether or not this game is going to have supply drops or loot boxes like they have had in recent years. If you remember back a couple of weeks ago, a YouTuber by the name of The Gaming Revolution, who up until this point in time has been dead on accurate with leaking pretty much everything to do with Call of Duty Modern Warfare. This guy has been spot on pretty much every single time with all the releases, the maps, everything that's been going on with this game. He has been out there leaking everything with an inside source within Infinity Ward. So recently he had put out a leak saying that there was going to be loot boxes, and not only that, there were also going to be weapons inside of those loot boxes. So it wouldn't be just things like camos or emotes or sprays or anything like that. It would have stuff outside of cosmetics that would actually affect the gameplay of Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which definitely caught the ire of the gaming community, myself included. Would not be very good to see pay-to-win mechanics hidden behind a loot box paywall, which is basically gambling at that point, to be able to get the weapons inside of the game. And of course, this wasn't that hard to believe, because in recent Call of Duty titles, while they have had supply drops at launch, they did not have weapons in those supply drops at launch, but they have always been pretty quick to put them in there just a couple of months after the game's release. So that's what a lot of people figured that would happen here. There would be loot boxes maybe at launch, and then a few months later, after the initial sales and reviews have all settled down, then they would, roll out the weapons into loot boxes and things, which would just be awful. And that's kind of what I expected to do here. Although they are denying that. They are denying that there is not going to be any loot boxes in Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and Infinity Ward has said that they're not working on loot boxes of any kind. This is exactly what they had to say. They said there continues to be misinformed and incorrect info being pushed about Modern Warfare, basically talking about the leak from The Gaming Revolution. They then go on to say, what I can say right now is that we are definitely not working on any kind of supply drops or loot box system. Also, functional stuff is unlocked through gameplay. So what they're saying is that they are not working on any sort of loot boxes. So if they're not working on it by this point in time, it would stand to reason that there's not going to be any loot boxes in there at launch. I mean, if there are loot boxes or supply drops of any kind, any type of package that has to be opened that is a random chance to unlock an item in the game, whether cosmetic or functional, it would basically make what they're saying here to be complete and utter bullshit. And I hope that that is not the case. I hope that there's no loot boxes in there at launch. They do definitely go on to say that they will have microtransactions in the game. There's going to be cosmetic microtransactions, but as in the quoted statement there, you can see they said all functional stuff is unlocked through gameplay. So anything that is actually functioning and would affect the quality of life and the gameplay of Call of Duty Modern Warfare, that stuff you're just going to get by playing the game as you would in older Call of Duty games before they started putting stuff into loot boxes. So, hopefully we can take Infinity Ward and Activision at their word here. I'm not one so quick to trust them with this, because honestly, they haven't earned our trust with recent games from Activision and Blizzard and Infinity Ward, or basically anyone under the Activision banner. They have not earned that trust yet with their actions. So I'm not really going to take them at their word for this. If they're saying it's not going to be, they're not working on it right now, I would take that as that they're not going to be in there at launch. And I would almost want to bet that they were probably already working on them, and they basically been forced to say this. I'm pretty much saying that they're lying. I think they already have a loot box and supply drop system in place, and it might not be in there at launch to avoid them getting negative reviews on the back of that and being slammed on things like Metacritic and things, but I do think that eventually, at some point, maybe right after the holiday season or right around the holiday season starts to kick around in December, I think we will start to see loot boxes, supply drops, whatever, some type of random chance thing that you can open and purchase with real-world currency to unlock items within the game, and whether or not that's going to have functional items or just cosmetic items still remains to be seen. Next up, we need to talk about NVIDIA, who have now launched their very own game studio, which will be responsible for bringing ray tracing to older titles. So we've already seen this happen with things like Quake 2 and Minecraft getting ray tracing features implemented into them, and now NVIDIA has officially unveiled their Lightspeed Studio. So it's exactly what it sounds like. It's going to be a game studio. They're basically going to be retrofitting games with ray tracing effects of probably varying different degrees. Maybe some will be as, so like Quake 2 basically had ray tracing like everything, and the performance was very, very poor, even for an older title like that, because the amount of ray tracing that they were doing in that, all the different effects, it wasn't just like one thing. It wasn't just lighting or reflections or shadows. It was like everything was ray traced. So the performance was pretty poor. It was a very cool tech demo, but really wasn't very practical at the end of the day, as most people won't be able to actually enjoy it. Even people with $1,200 graphics cards wouldn't really be able to enjoy it anything above 1080p resolution. Even that was a little bit of a struggle. So I'm a little bit hesitant to get excited about this, because I think any game that they put it in is probably going to run like garbage, and the games that they're going to be doing it for are very likely going to be beloved titles which people already enjoyed, and adding in ray tracing isn't going to automatically make those games better or make me want to play them anymore. I mean, I might download it briefly just to see how it runs and see the ray tracing effects and be like, yeah, but the rest of the game still looks like garbage, so I'm just not gonna play it. Like, I mean, in the article here, they mentioned like Doom 3 as being a possibility as a beloved game because it had a lot of impressive effects for its time. But I can't really say that I would go back and play Doom 3 just because they added in ray tracing, other than to just maybe look at it initially, and then I would probably get rid of it right away. Now, as far as what games they're going to be working on with this is really anyone's best guess. They did have a job listing posted for NVIDIA Lightspeed Studios, and all they said is that is going to be a game title that you know and love, but we can't talk about it here. So that's all they're really saying about this right now. So you can apply that to almost any game. There's a lot of games out there that are part of beloved franchises. I guess really there's only like one franchise that would even mildly interest me to bring this into, and that would be the Half-Life series. I think that would be awesome to see it in that. But, something going back as old as like Quake 2, it's not going to really pique my interest personally, but that's just me. It's subjective. But I do want to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on this down in the comments below. What titles would you want to see ray tracing brought into, and why? And also, is this something that even excites you to want to go back and play these games which you may have already loved? So is there really much reason to go back just because of adding in a new graphical effect, which, as I said, it doesn't necessarily make the game better, unless maybe they do it on like an atmospheric horror game, maybe like something in the Fear franchise, like one of the first 2 Fear games. Maybe something there could be kind of cool. Silent Hill games, maybe. Like anything atmospheric like that, where the environment actually is part of the gameplay. I feel like something with like that could make a difference. Whereas like just adding in ray tracing to just anything, just say, hey, look, we can reflect shadows off of bullet casings on the ground like they're doing in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. It doesn't really add anything to the game. But an atmospheric game certainly could. So that could be something worth looking at if they do it on titles like that. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. But that's all I've got for you guys today in the world of tech and gaming news. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. If you enjoyed this video or learned something new, as always, please don't forget to leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you're not already, and if you've been here for a while, go ahead and ring that notification bell. That way you never miss a moment of content as soon as I post it up live here on the channel. And I will see you all tomorrow for another video. Ta-ra.